Hello, everybody. I am Hoardergamer, and first off, I just want to get this out of the way. The Doom Squad Gaming lawyers had a little talk with me, and in my tweets, I did say, in less than 2 hours, Hoarder's Comic Flex on the Doom Squad Gaming YouTube channel might, emphasis on the word might change your life. Now, I just have to, bring you to the parentheses of the tweet. Change of your life is not guaranteed, and offer is subject to the word might. So just keep that in mind before, any lawsuits or anything, okay? I'd appreciate that. Doom Squad Gaming would appreciate that. So, thank you. Thank you. Misplaced, how you doing? We have a show today. Is it a great show? Is it an amazing show? That's up to you. I'm not going to put that pressure on myself. I'll put all that pressure on all of you. We have reviews. We have a video game review, everybody. Yeah, I've not really done a video game review. I usually do previews, but we've got a video game review today for Gotham Knights. I've talked about it a lot in the last, all the episodes of this show, probably. Many of the episodes. And when we get to that part of the show, I'm going to review Gotham Knights. First off, though, we're going to start with a comic book review. We're going to start a little bit lighthearted, a little. It's still kind of dark, and a pretty interestingly risque joke, too, in this issue, of Deadpool. Everybody, Deadpool #1. Now, David Nakayama did an amazing cover there, making it look like a magazine. That's a cover I was able to get. I was happy about that. And Doom, good to see you. And yeah, this is a really fun book. And Alyssa Wong, this is her first issue of Deadpool, and knocks it out of the ballpark, really. So, real simple, great setup for comedy and maybe terror. We'll see. Comedy because it's Deadpool. Terror because of what Deadpool is supposed to do and what happens when Deadpool attempts to do it. Deadpool wants to join Atelier. Atelier is a group of superhuman assassins, mostly with powers, very dangerous and scary. And yeah, they're screwed up. They're screwed up. Well, he wants to join. So they're like, fine, you get an audition. Your audition is you have 48 hours to kill Otto Octavius, Dr. Octopus. So Deadpool's like, cool, I can make that happen. And of course, Deadpool, goes super early and screws it up. He's like, maybe I shouldn't have gotten here then. What do I do now? Well, he ends up getting kidnapped by the Harrower. Harrower is a scary character that I've not seen in Marvel Comics yet. She's a mix between Poison Ivy and, honestly, like Mr. Sinister. Her whole thing is biofission and biofusion. She knows that Deadpool has one rockin' body. But what she means by that is the ability for pain and torture and everything else Deadpool can have because of the healing factor. It just so happens during the King in Black story arc, she gets a bit of Carnage, the symbiote. She wants to put that into Deadpool. Meanwhile, Deadpool's clock is ticking on him having to go and kill Dr. Octopus. A very good issue. A very good intro for Alyssa on Deadpool, and I really liked it. If you're a fan of the character, there's a lot of great laughs. There's this one wild joke that the Harrower makes about Deadpool asking about if he has a problem getting things wet. And Deadpool's like, hey, I'm the one that's supposed to make the jokes here. Hey, Kiki, how you doing? But yeah, Deadpool 1 is really good. I definitely recommend it. I'm interested to see where the book goes. I would say it's along the lines of like the Harley Quinn comic book currently, like the Stephanie Phillips run currently. It might get a little darker though, just because of Carnage being part of the story arc apparently. And now Deadpool, I'm gonna send him to his favorite restaurant where he can purchase some chimichangas. That is our first comic book review, everybody. Our first review, Deadpool. Okay. Now, we are going to talk about games. One specific game, and the first comic book review, not a preview, the first comic book review I have done of a game. I will try not to make it too meandering. I will focus on the things I liked and disliked, and then give you a number review, 1 out of 10. I decided 1 out of 10 is what I would do. Movies, I do 4 stars, but that's because of Siskel and Ebert. Around that time period, of course, they had the 2 thumbs up, right? But most critics at that point in the 80s were going with 4 stars, and that's usually what I do for movies. But I think for video games, 10 points makes a better... It just seems better to me. Okay. So, Gotham Knights, basically dead Bruce Wayne. Okay? And these are his kids and surrogate kids. I guess they're really all surrogate kids, to be honest with you. Like, unless, you know, Damien would be the only actual kid of his. Anyway, they're trying to protect Gotham and the people of Gotham while facing their most terrible threat, the Court of Owls. And it seems to them, they don't know all the details, that the court is responsible for the death of Bruce Wayne. And they're trying to find out and solve that case. And as that happens, other villains decide to take advantage of this power vacuum that occurs in Gotham, such as Harley Quinn, Clayface, and Mr. Freeze. Working and eating chicken fried rice while listening? That is a lot of multitasking. That is more multitasking than I am capable of. So basically you have all these villains and the court and Talia al Ghul kind of wondering, hey, what's going on? She like kind of shows up and she's like, no, the League has nothing to do with this. And Court of Owls and all this stuff. And so there are these awesome story missions, which are lengthy. Each one I'd say is about a half hour. And the game unfolds over 8 chapters, each chapter having multiple segments, if you will. Each night has a different, what I like to say, feature that Batman possessed. Okay? The acrobatic skill of Batman, Nightwing. Jason Todd, the brutality of Batman, when he could be brutal in fights and stuff like that. Not exactly how Jason Todd is portrayed in the comics, but here it makes sense when each member of the Knights is supposed to have an aspect of Bruce. Robin, stealth. Stealth, really big on stealth. And Batgirl, basically deductive mind as well as hacking skills. She's amazing at hacking. So basically, it's all like skills that Batman has personified in each member of the Knights. And you go out at night fighting crime in Gotham, in an open world Gotham, and you're basically collecting resources to build better gear. You're looking for blueprints. And like I mentioned before, you're also looking to take down 3 big villains, Clayface, Harley Quinn, and Mr. Freeze. Each of them has their own story arc with between 4 and I think 6 missions each. You're also getting clues as you go around and interrogate enemies and solve crimes. And the next night you go out, you might have more premeditated crimes. I was surprised and actually kind of shocked that 37 nights going out and patrolling, still at this point, I'm coming across buildings I haven't seen and enemy layouts I haven't seen. Now, someone on Reddit was saying that they are 100 hours into the game. Not just like how the nights are measured, but 100 hours into the game. And they are seeing the same thing. They're seeing in the insides of buildings they didn't know. And there were rumors before the game came out that this would have the most interiors of any of the Batman games. And that might be true. I'm not exactly sure, but like I said, I saw at least 2 areas I haven't seen in 37 nights of patrolling last night alone. So that's very cool. The villains, I think, are a lot of fun to fight. The fighting's different, though, than in Arkham. At times, when you get the timing correct on your hits, you will kind of pinball between 2 or 3 enemies. But it's not like it is in Arkham. It's similar, but not exact. If anything, I would say this combat is more like Assassin's Creed, but not like Origins. More like Brotherhood or one of the ones like that. It's good. And once you get into it and understand it, it's awesome. But yes, in the beginning, it feels so different. Each character has a different speed they attack at, and you have to get used to that. If you don't, it's going to be very difficult. I've played as all 4 of the Knights now, and I thought I would only like Batgirl and Red Hood. I like all 4 of them. I think all 4 of the Knights are excellent to play with. Red Hood is great for ranged, using his guns. And when you apply like effects like fire or poison or ice, it's just awesome. Is the combat as good as Arkham Knight? It is different than Arkham Knight. It is different. I honestly, myself, I do prefer the combat in the Arkham game series. I do. But this combat is still very good. And like I said, you have to get used to it and understand how to use your momentum abilities. Now, some reviews were like, you're just spamming 1 or 2 hits and waiting for your momentum to come back. That's not how I played. I would use like the regular hits and like dodges and things like that. And then I would like try to time and get together a good momentum attack and just tear the enemy apart. So I think the combat is actually very good. There are 3 skill trees and then a 4th one, which is your knighthood tree. So you get a decision as to how you want to build your character, because the 30 points you get at the 30 levels that you play in the game aren't enough to cover all the abilities in one playthrough. There is a new game plus that you can do once you beat the campaign, and I'm doing this review because I beat the campaign yesterday. Are the villain encounters as fun as Arkham Knight? The boss battles I freaking love. Okay, now, Warner Montreal has always been good at boss battles, and I absolutely love Rocksteady. That has not been their strongest feature. Like, the boss battle in Arkham Asylum with Killer Croc, you're basically running, trying not to have him burst out of the water and attack you. It's not a great boss battle. The Poison Ivy battle is pretty good. I like that. It gets frustrating with the way the vines come and ensnare you. That's in Arkham Asylum. It's still pretty good. Now, I will say this, though. Credit where it's due. Rocksteady has one of the best single fights. Mr. Freeze. Facing Mr. Freeze in Arkham City is like facing the Terminator. You can only use each ability once to damage him in his suit. And then you have to rethink. Plus, he's sending out sensors to hunt you down to know where you are so he can come and get you. It felt like something out of a horror movie. It's an amazing boss battle. Also, Solomon Grundy has a good boss battle. So, right there. Arkham Knight has almost no boss battles, unfortunately. So, Arkham Origins, game that WB Montreal made, what was that, like 2013, I believe. That had great boss battles as well. So that's something they've been always good at. And these are intense bosses. If there's one issue I have with the boss battles, it would be specifically with Mr. Freeze. He has area of effect attacks that hit the ground. There are some that are very difficult to avoid. Like insanely so, to the point where to avoid one, you almost have to be hit by another. I feel they could lower the damage of that, you know. They don't even really have to get rid of it, but lower the damage it causes. I would definitely do that if I was them. But the boss battles themselves are really fun. I really do like them. And there are other boss battles I don't want to mention because I don't want to completely spoil the game for everybody. And there's an enemy type that shows up, I kid you not, within like the last hour of the campaign. They are intense. They are intense. The first one took me, I think, like 10 minutes to defeat. And they are not bosses. It's an enemy type. Now that I understand what to do and understand the importance of having like elemental effects and everything on them, they are easier to take on. But it's still challenging. And they have a lot of cool attacks. Also, it's fun just to team up with a friend in co-op and just tour the city. I've checked it out with Hero Mentor. I've gone with, let's see, I'm trying to think who else. Eminan, someone who is part of my community on Twitch. And, yeah, and Stixie Nugs. And it's just a lot of fun. Now, it isn't all roses. It isn't all perfection. I wouldn't even use the term perfection. The frame rate. When you play co-op, it drops. There are times where I would say the frame rate is between 20 and 25 frames a second. Single player, it does not seem to be like that, especially after a day one patch that I believe came out. But here's the thing. Playing co-op is so much fun that you will barely get upset about the frame rate. In all honesty. You're going to have so much fun taking down enemies, and it really doesn't get in the way of combat. The frame rate tanks if you're both on your bikes and going to a crime. During the actual fight itself, it's not really bad. It might drop a couple frames, but it's not like it is sometimes when you're on your bike. Does anyone have any questions on Gotham Knights? I don't want to make sure that I cover everything. It's very important that you're constantly getting resources as you're fighting crimes at night, because you have to constantly build new outfits and weapons. I found out I accidentally went out at level 30 with level 14 weapons. Enemies were laughing at my attacks. I was actually losing my mind fighting a group of enemies, and then once I finally got through a few of them, 2 more groups came out. And I was like, what is happening? I can't understand why this is so difficult. Why? And I foolishly had low-level weapons. Once I had them brought up to level 30, it was fun. Traversal. Worst traversal has to be Mystic Leap by Red Hood. As much as I love to play Red Hood, if I'm comparing his traversal to all the other ones, I would say Mystic Leap. Here's the biggest issue with Mystic Leap, everybody. If there's a huge body of water and you're not near a bridge at all, you have two options. You can fast travel, but if you don't want to fast travel, or the location really isn't that far out, you have to get to the bridge, because as you do Mystic Leap, every leap he goes a little bit lower. You're going to end up in like Gotham Bay or whatever. Now, one of the best traversals is the glider. That Fortnite glider everyone was making fun of that Nightwing has. Because when Nightwing brings his knees up with that glider, it ascends. So, you could take that glider across like the entire freaking map at a speed faster than the bike. A lot of people don't like Robin's traversal using the JLA satellite where he teleports. But it's amazing if you're playing up stealth, because you can just stealth over a group of enemies and do a takedown without them even seeing you. He also has a momentum ability that makes him go invisible for I think like 10 seconds. So he's excellent for stealth, like I mentioned before. Batgirl, she has the closest traversal to Batman, where she actually glides. Now, if you're wondering the review I'm giving the game, okay? If you're ready to start screaming that I'm a shill, okay, get ready. I give Gotham Knights an 8. An 8. The reason I can't give it a higher is because the frame rate. There are times where, yes, it does get frustrating. I would like more villains, okay? The 3 story arcs you get for Clayface, Harley Quinn, and Mr. Freeze are great. But I just wanted more villains. Maybe because I'm greedy. Maybe that'll be DLC. I don't know. I don't know. Nightwing is the best traversal. Batgirl's okay, and the others are bad. Batgirl, yeah, she's good. Again, to me, the worst was Mystic Leap, especially because I don't care that it like doesn't seem realistic. Comic books aren't realistic, everybody. Hate to break it to everybody. Comic books as a whole are very realistic. But like I said, if you're nowhere near a bridge and you need to get across, if you don't want to fast travel, you have to go get to the part of the bridge before you start doing Mystic Leap, or you will end up in Gotham Bay. And you get 10 seconds with Robin, which I think is enough time to like course correct and be like, oh no, not there. And then, you know, move to an area where it's going to be safer for you. But yes, I give it an 8 out of 10. If anyone has any questions, feel free to ask. Keep in mind, I played it after the day 1 patch. I didn't play it before. I didn't play any of this game in the early release that, like, you know, reviewers had. I played it at regular release. Certain elements just aren't as polished as the Arkham games. That's another reason it got an 8 out of 10. For comparison's sake, I give a 10 to Arkham City. That to me is a 10. I give a 9.5 to Arkham Asylum and a 9 to Arkham Knight. Just to give you an idea of where I am with that 8 for Gotham Knights. I did like Gotham Knights more than Arkham Origins. Arkham Origins for me is between a 7, 7.5. Yeah, I think once they get a solid frame rate, Gilherm, it's gonna be really great. Like I'll enjoy going out patrolling at night with friends even more, and I'm really looking forward to that 4-player dungeon, because I think by having it in a contained dungeon, right, not the giant open world, the frame rate shouldn't be an issue even with 4 people playing. I really would love to see a new boss, though, at the end of that dungeon. How amazing would that be? There are crazy rumors that there will be a new boss in that dungeon, but I doubt it. It'd be really cool. Someone did some sort of, what do you call that? Like when you check out data. I forget what it's called. There's a term for it. Not data dump. But someone did that, and their claim was like Starro and Two-Face somehow. I don't know how Starro would be possible. I have no clue. That's insane. If anything, I always thought that Starro was going to be part of Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. My thought with that being that crashed Brainiac's ship, Brainiac's menagerie, Starro possibly being part of that. Arkham Knight hinted at Starro, so that's my reasoning there. Now, I don't know if that means a big giant Starro, but even just the little ones that affix to people's heads are very dangerous. But it's reason to be excited because we know Endgame is coming. At numerous interviews I saw with Patrick Redding and other members, I'm drawing a blank, I feel so bad. Other members of WB Montreal, they mentioned an Endgame, but they could not get into it. They didn't just mean New Game Plus, everybody. They wouldn't have built it up like that. That wouldn't have been a huge, massive secret. Oh, there's New Game Plus. That's our end game. No. No. My theory is that they could have, or my hope, let's say hope, I don't want to go with a theory, that they could have new villains that just show up in Gotham, take over areas of Gotham, like the boroughs of Gotham, and then when you get through them after a number of patrols, you face off against their leader. I feel that's the way to do DLC here. Or like repeatable dungeons. Not giant, super expensive 6 to 8 hour campaigns that you play once. With the framework of this game, I don't see that as being a good idea. Arkham Origins, when they had that really cool Mr. Freeze DLC, that was a totally different framework. That wasn't like every night it's different crimes. Oh, that's another thing that's cool too, everybody. Every night you go out, there can be different crimes, different types of enemies, and different things that you're going to face. You might have a type of crime, and then 3 patrols later, you may not see that crime again, or that type of faction, or that location. If they could keep that going, it would be amazing. Is it an improvement over Marvel's Avengers? That is an excellent question, Mike. I would say the combat, which again was created partially by the guy who did the combat in God of War 2018. So it's amazing combat, right? It's awesome. Kratos' axe was amazing, and so is Thor's hammer. Anyway, the combat there is amazing, but going at night on patrol in Gotham Knights, that's what patrol needs to feel like in Marvel's Avengers. This awesome experience where the 2 hours you share with a friend going through, or maybe an hour, going through with a friend, playing, and coming across things you didn't the night before. You know? Little surprises here and there. That's what patrol needs. It can't just be a larger area exactly the way Marvel's Avengers has been. This is a great template for a game as a service world to explore and have fun. And God, I hope that Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League goes this route. Because as of right now, unless they've changed something very recently, that is a game as a service. But look at how exciting that can be, everybody. Rocksteady, with their takes on Arkham and Gotham City, and, well, areas of Gotham. I don't think they've ever done the entire complete city, I don't think. Maybe at night it is. But now think of that. Think of, like, riddles. Think of going around and fighting all sorts of random enemies, different enemy factions and things like that, in a beautiful looking metropolis, which is what that game's going to offer, you know? Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League. Also, my hope, my big hope, I doubt I'll get it. I doubt I'll get it because it'd be too awesome. Instead of Riddler, because really Riddler doesn't do a lot in Metropolis, you know? There's arguments for a whole mess of Batman villains being in Metropolis, yes. Okay, totally. Riddler, not that much of a presence in Metropolis. His whole thing is to basically expose Batman as a fake, and, you know, that he's nowhere near as smart as he seems to be. His whole idea is just basically exposing Batman, right? So, no Riddler. Who would be interesting in Metropolis in Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League instead of a Riddler? A certain fifth dimensional imp. Mr. Mxyzptlk. There could be areas of Metropolis that are weird and screwed up. The closest thing to explain it would be like a glitch in the Matrix. And you have to go and use different abilities in order to fix those areas. I would love that if instead of the Riddler, they had that having to do with Mr. Mxyzptlk. That would be just amazing and a great way to have him in the game. Also, not really a spoiler, but everybody, Interzone, okay? The intergalactic gun-running weapon organization. They are in the movie Black Adam. They're in that movie. So they've always had, or for a long time, a presence in Metropolis. So Intergang makes sense. So, like, Luthor could have his people. Metallo could have theirs, right? They're like, well, not people. He'd have, like, you know, robots usually. You can do really awesome things with it, you know? But yes, if you're asking about improvement over Marvel's Avengers, the idea of a patrol, definitely. Definitely. And everybody, we are done with Gotham Knights unless anyone has anything to say or any questions. Speak now or forever hold your bat peace. Same bat time, same bat channel. Okay, if we have nothing more for Gotham Knights, we are going to move on to our little section where we toy around. I'm going to toy around a bit, everybody. It's time to toy around. Okay, everybody. This is a great figure. Dr. Aphra, from one of the better Star Wars comic books that has come out. Basically a doctor, also I believe a smuggler as well. Usually I think for like medical supplies. I've only read a few issues, but the character is great. But there's a really cool Dr. Aphra figure that is available. I believe you can get this through Entertainment Earth. And if you order through Entertainment Earth, if you have a order that's $39 or more, you get free shipping. Plus, you support me. I appreciate that. Thank you. But yeah, look at the goggles, look at the gun, the holster, the jacket. It's a really good looking figure for the 6-inch Star Wars Black Series. So I had to show that. Now, they also have Darth Malak and Bastila from Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. Those look really good as well. I also believe Mara Jade. Mara Jade. Oh, a lot of negatives to get an 8. To me, they're minor negatives, though, Mike. Like, there are things that, oh, okay, you know, this. Each of those to me was like a quarter of a point or half a point. So. Okay. Let's say goodbye to Dr. Aphra. And maybe if you order Dr. Aphra will make a house call. Because, you know, doctor. Next up. Owlbear! My favorite toy so far for the new Dungeons & Dragons Honor Among Thieves movie are the Dicelings. Basically 20-sided die that act like Transformers and turn into characters from creatures from Advanced Dungeons & Dragons. Owlbear. So look at that. I love the head design. I like the claws. And it starts as a 20-sided die. And these are going to be affordable. These would be between $12 and $14 a piece. So I think these are pretty awesome. I like gimmicks. I like things that are creative. And I really like this. I also like the gelatinous cube, which is I think it's like that'd be 6 pieces of plastic, right? That's see-through. And then it looks like weapons are floating in it. And you can even put an action figure from the movie in it. So that's pretty cool too. But these were announced real recently. So the Dicelings. I think it was like last week I think they were announced. But that's the Owlbear right there. And that's not the only Diceling. The Beholder. Look at that. Look at the eye stalks. Look at the main eye. The teeth. The tongue. I really like those. Again, between $12 and $14. I think these are really neat. I like these. I ordered the Beholder myself. I did order the Beholder. I've always wanted a Beholder, and I was like, that's a cool way to have one. The only small thing I have an issue with, and it's minor, so don't go freaking out, everybody. They embossed the "and" from Dungeons and Dragons. See? I wish they would have embossed the numbers as well. Like in gold or silver. You know? Or maybe just a color that would look really great against orange. So like on this one, the numbers could have been painted black, right? On this one, again, yeah, the numbers could be painted black because it would look really good on a white background. Now there's also a green dragon and a red dragon. So, you know, maybe possibly a different color on one of those, but like these are the Dicelings. And they're going to roll the dice back to whatever collectible store, maybe Entertainment Earth, that they came from. Oh, hold on here. There we go. Let's see, I had one more, I think. Let me see where it is. Give me 1 second, everybody. I could have sworn that I had another toy to show. I might be wrong. That might have been everything. Oh, that's right. It was a McFarlane figure of Boston Brand, also known as Deadman. And unfortunately, I didn't have a picture of it, but that looked really cool too. It's probably one of the best action figures I've seen of Deadman. So that's really cool if you're a fan. And with that, we are done toying around for the week. Now, it is time for us, everybody, to look at the future. Okay? We're going to look into our crystal balls into the future, all the way to 1 week from today. We got some cool books. First off, Alex Ross doing the covers. Fantastic Four #1. Written by Ryan North, and I believe Eben Coelho, is doing the artwork. Yes, issue 1 of Fantastic Four. And the team is basically locked in a time loop that might be connected to the Midwest of the United States. So it sounds pretty interesting. The solicitation was cool because it had like sentences repeated, as in the solicitation itself for the book was in a time warp. I love the cover. I absolutely, just not even the art, not just the art, the coloring. I absolutely love this cover. I think this is going to be really cool. It'd be interesting to see Ryan North taking over Fantastic Four. David Pepose, I believe, took over for, I think it was 2 issues. Did a really cool Die Hard homage, a 2-issue Die Hard homage with Invisible Woman in the Baxter building, and someone basically trying to, ransom it, and, she's one of the only people that can save everybody. It was very cool. It was very cool. But yeah, this is, if people ask about like big books or exciting books, I would say definitely. Especially because like the Dan Slott run, which is very recent, was really good at Fantastic Four. And it's been a really solid book for a while now. So it's very cool. Also, I'd be remiss if I didn't mention the connection between Kang and Fantastic Four. And Kang being so important in the MCU. And a new book coming out called Timeless, by Jed MacKay again. So, yeah, Fantastic Four. Very cool. Next up, I read issue 1. I did not review it, but it was a book that I read right when it came out a month ago. Dark Ride by Josh Williamson. I knew Josh Williamson, not personally, but from writing The Flash. He wrote The Flash for quite a while. And I liked his writing. And this is his original. This is his baby. And this baby is straight from hell. So, Dark Ride is the story of a would-be Walt Disney who had this dream of creating this amazing theme park that was a little skewed and a little darker than all the other theme parks out there. Basically, someone comes to him and makes a deal with him, probably the devil. And now, years later, his son, who is like running part of the park, and his daughter, who is estranged and into making softcore porn and being an influencer, they're basically drawn back to the park to see their father and to basically kind of reconcile their differences. Meanwhile, new star employee on their first day is being maybe destroyed or recreated by demons. I don't know. It might be part of the training that the employees get. I am not sure. But Dark Ride is fun. It's a bit scary. And yeah, it's like the whole idea of like Disneyland in hell. And this is issue 2. So you're still real early on this ride. You can hop on this ride at issue 2. And yeah, it's not like you have like 100 issues to catch up on or anything like that. Also, next week when this book comes out, they'll be doing a second printing of issue 1 if you wanted to grab that. And I'm going to send Dark Ride straight back to hell. Another book that could be really big, okay? Wildcats #1. First senses shattering issue. So as the solicitation says, from the pages of Batman come the Wildcats, specifically Grifter. And Grifter was actually recently in the Batman comic book series. It's basically a superhero team, and there's a new villain they're against. That sounds pretty neat. I don't have all the details, but I definitely like to let people know about like big issue 1s and books I think could be really cool or really interesting. So I would definitely keep an eye on this, you know, and kind of like, don't look at a review that actually ruined the book for yourself. But like for me, if I'm on the fence about a book, even with the research I do and I don't know enough about it, I'll look at something like a aggregate score system, like comic book roundup or something like that. So yeah, I mean, this could be really cool. I'm not sure exactly. Dark Ride, I can actually say is cool. I've read issue 1 and liked it a lot. So, but yeah, Wildcats looks pretty neat, I gotta say. And I'll send it back to the streets of Gotham. Grifter was in Gotham, but I don't know if the Wildcats are always in Gotham. I don't know that. I read a few issues of the old Wildcat series, and you know, some of the like a lot of the Batman stuff where Grifter shows up, but I don't know a lot about the entire team or anything like that. Now, everybody, Halloween's over, but I'm still playing that ghost piano. I'm still priming that pump for your questions, your suggestions, the things that help make this show even better. You want me to review something? Want me to talk about a certain line of toys? Hell, do you want me to talk about some line of toys from the 80s and my love of them? Go ahead, ask. And while I prime that pump, we are going to do our final review. And then after that, we'll see, you know, what the pump has wrought, if anything. Our final review, everybody. Mark Silvestri, Ari Prianto. I believe that's a T. That looks like a T to me. Hold on. Arif, actually, Arif Prianto. I was right about the T, though. Arif Prianto. Batman and Joker, the Deadly Duo. So, the art and the writing are by Mark Silvestri, and Arif Prianto did the coloring. If you like your Batman dark and disturbing, possibly, I'd say, screwed up, this is for you. If you were into the comic book The Darkness, also created by Mark Silvestri, or Witchblade, this book is for you. Basically, some very dangerous, super strong, Joker-looking individuals, but not the Joker himself, are going around slaughtering people in Gotham and then taking their heads. Meanwhile, Harley Quinn is in the bottom of a giant pit, and someone is basically mocking her, saying that Joker won't show up to save her. So, Batman approaches Joker to see what the hell is going on with these super strong, terrifying versions of himself, and if there's any connection to Joker. And Joker is like, forget that dynamic duo crap. We could be the deadly duo. So yes, Batman and Joker, the deadly duo. I don't know if it's an ongoing or a limited series. It is considered DC Black Label, and it does say book 1. I'm not quite sure, but it's very good. The artwork is awesome. It's a very dark version of Batman. However, actually, no, I'm sorry. It's a more comedic version of Batman. That's actually kind of weird. There's 2 times where he basically makes a joke. And even Joker is like kind of like that's my thing. If we work together, I'll be making the jokes. But like it's great because like Joker's like, okay, let's shake and spit on it. And Batman spits right in Joker's face. And then shakes his hand, but like with a real tight grip. Like hurting his hand where Joker has to say something. So, if anything, the only issue I have with the book is I don't love the whole idea that this is the version of Harley that's calling Joker Puddin' and all that, and still basically controlled by this madman, the Joker. That's the only issue I have with this book. Otherwise, the writing, the art, the excitement of knowing what's going on with these super strong, terrifying versions of Joker, all really good. I really feel this is a great book, and I would definitely check it out, especially if you like screwed up things and you like Batman. Batman and Joker, the deadly duo. Okay, so both that and Deadpool I thought were really good. Again, Deadpool is a little bit lighter, a little bit more comedic as a whole, but you got that whole thing with the Carnage story going on there, so it could go really crazy. I don't think it'll go as crazy as the Carnage monthly comic or ongoing comic, but who knows? Who knows these things? Not me. Not me. Now, after the priming the pump, if I prime the pump carefully, do we have any suggestions? Do we have any reviews? Any comments on my Gotham Knights game review or any of the other reviews we had tonight? Or any of the toys that I showed everybody? See if there's anything else I could say about Gotham Knights. I really, again, think the DLC should be... I don't think it should go game as a service, okay? But I think it should be small drops that change the city or the enemies in it. And maybe every month or 2. So game as a service is basically every week. Skins are being sold. Changes are being made. Patches are constantly coming into the game. It's very different than just regular DLC. I would like more frequent DLC, but not game as a service level. Again, right now, as far as we know, it's not a game as a service. If it became a massive hit, maybe it would take a pivot, right? Technically, I do not believe that Outriders is considered a game as a service. It just gets large expansions. But that expansion is story-based and endgame. So that's another possibility. I would prefer smaller drops more often, but that is what they could conceivably do for Gotham Knights. Any new hero character being added in case of... Yes. I think I can say this because I don't think it's super spoilery, but like once I beat the campaign, Barbara Gordon got some phone calls. Huntress calls her, and Black Canary. Now, the Black Canary is very interesting because there was a leak that was thought to be a complete fabrication and a lie about Black Canary being in a Gotham type game. Maybe that's what was meant. I don't know. But yeah, I would think either Huntress or Black Canary, if they do add any characters. I really want Batwoman, and the connection of Jacob Kane, without giving the details there, would be very interesting to say the least. Yeah, Black Canary would be great. Huntress would be great too. Also, keep in mind, Huntress may not follow the vow of Bruce's vow, the no-killing vow that Red Hood has decided to honor as a remembrance to Bruce. Ms. Bertinelli may not do that, so that would really alter her gameplay. Also, she has like a crossbow, which would be really cool. To be honest, though, I would prefer more villains coming to Gotham and screwing things up than them. Because you got to look, Gilherm, at the amount of man hours and the amount of money and everything it takes to put a new character into the game. That's like 6 months of work. That 6 months of work could be, 2 or 3 villains showing up and boss battles with them, right? And then maybe they each have a slightly different version of existing mobs that, are their own branded mob, By mob, I don't mean the Mafia and Gotham Knights. I mean, like, the different kind of assortment or groups of enemies. But yeah, I really wanted Batwoman, but I don't think that's going to happen. A lot of people seem to think that Gotham Knights 2, if it happens, would be a Teen Titans game. Like some of the Gotham Knights and the Teen Titans together. I don't know. Obviously, Tim Drake, right? But, do you just jettison all the rest of the Gotham Knights and they're just NPC characters? I mean, how does that work? Do you have the Gotham Knights and then you introduce Beast Boy, and Raven, and was it Star Sapphire, I believe? How do you do that? Cyborg 2. Do you go with adding 4 or 5 new characters plus the Gotham Knights? I don't know. It's a very interesting rumor, though. I was really hoping WB Montreal would do a Superman game. I was hoping one of the companies at WB would. But I'm very excited for Wonder Woman. That looks awesome. And that's from the makers of the Shadow of War and the Mordor series, basically. The Lord of the Rings big budget games that came out from WB. Any other questions or suggestions, or shall I bring this episode of Hoarder's Comic Flex to a close? Want to thank everyone very much that watched. Thank you. Whether you watched it live and were in chat, or you watch it at your own leisure, thank you very much. Again, you can put things, comments, things you want to see, things you want me to review, talk about. Also want to thank everybody. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I think I had the biggest viewing numbers for this show. Thank you. If you haven't caught it, last week was all about Gotham Knights and the comic book as well as the game. Not a review, but talking about a lot of neat features in the game and, a lot of excitement behind it. Everybody, thank you all very much. Thank you. And I will see you next week. Again, like I said earlier tonight, same bat time, same bat channel. And also, if you want to check me out, I'll be on twitch.tv/Hoardergamer tomorrow night. I know I'm going to patrol Gotham a bit with possibly Hero Mentor, possibly Stixie Nugs, possibly you. If I know you and you know you have a PlayStation, because it's not crossplay. It's not crossplay. And because like some, we'll say bad actors came in when Ghostbusters came out and said bad things. So it's got to be someone I can know and trust. So, but anyway, yes. I'll be streaming tomorrow night on Twitch at 8 p.m. Central. And also on Saturday. My Twitch schedule is Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. And yeah, thank you, everybody. Also, check out Doom Squad Gaming. And again, thank you to Doomkiller HD and Doom Squad Gaming for letting me borrow your channel for this show again. Thank you very much, and I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.